The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Happy to be here alone in my apartment in St. Louis. I'm not happy to be alone, but maybe I am. Who knows? Brian Frangie is here in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
Noah's in Arizona. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I have had dirty hair since I think the last time I washed my hair was Saturday. And it's now Wednesday. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? It's Wednesday.
Today's
Is
Wednesday.
that typical? Is that what you're supposed to be doing?
No, it's atypical for me. That's a really long time for me. I really needed to get one in this morning, and then my apartment did not have hot water, so I took it as a sign.
Oh, God.
You take things as a sign when there's no other choice, and you go, I'm meant to not take a shower today.
Time to get some dreads, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well keep going.
I have to brush through it because it is starting to dread.
Do you have dry
it's
shampoo?
So naughty. I did. I got some. I didn't spray it today. I sprayed it like 2 days ago, and that really sopped some stuff up. But it's just a tangled mess. I'm obsessed with these new brushes I found. Someone gave it to me in a bag of something like a gift bag, but I bought others. It looks like a little egg, and it has plastic bristles. And I've always looked for a brush that doesn't rip your hair. I'm obsessed with not ripping my hair. I cannot believe when I watch my friends brush through their hair after it's wet from the shower.
Oh, no.
They just start at the root and go straight down and push through. And I'm like, I get it goes through, girls, but you got to start at the ends, at the very ends, get those good. Then you slowly work up because you are ripping out your hair. And I've seen my friend Catherine does it so violently. And I'm like, treat your hair like fine papyrus that you would find in an ancient tomb.
Yes.
Like, that's how gentle you have to be on your hair.
It'll thin.
What?
It'll thin, even for women. It'll
breaking.
thin.
Yes, it as you age, it absolutely thins, and it does, and it breaks. Especially if you treat your hair with heat and paraffins and color it. Like, you have to. I think that's why my hair. I mean, I definitely take Nutrafol, and I want to tell everyone that Nutrafol is legit. They're not paid. It's just a thing that if I miss one supplement of Nutrafol, I feel it in my head. It's like, might be psychosomatic, but it's fucking works. And it's just, I just take the 4 pills a day. You don't need to do all the other things. I mean,
I like the serum.
Oh, you use the serum? I don't do that because it's gonna make it so I have to wash my hair.
Oh, I just feel
have
like
tons of it.
It's probably good.
Our friend's husband invented it, and so we get friends and family.
I bought mine. You bought to support.
They don't.
But I feel like I can always ask for a free one.
I just write to her and I say, "Can I get some Nutrafol?" And she sends me an entire shed worth. Like, I have so much Nutrafol. I give it to my mom. I give it to Chris. I give it to Tim. Everyone's on it.
I'm not what Noah's saying. Like, sometimes I'll opt not to do Prime on Amazon so I can support Jeff Bezos.
Exactly.
Like, I'll pay for the shipping out of pocket.
It's not the same.
And it's also why I buy a new iPhone every 3 months. It's like, I know that Tim
You're just
Cook needs it.
doing the right thing.
I'm doing my part. Yeah, small business.
To help billionaires.
Yeah.
Get to that 1.1, 1.2.
Right. You know how it
feels?
feels?
Be part of something. Leave me alone.
You're being a good friend because our friend's husband does own it, and that means that she owns it, and you're being a good friend. But it's like when my friends pay for tickets to my show, and no offense, everyone listening is my friend, but I can't give away that many tickets. But I don't have that many friends in my life, and when they buy tickets, it annoys me because I'm like, I get comps. You get it's part of the deal that I can give this stuff away. And that money you're spending is kind of not really going. I'm going to get that anyway. It's kind of the deal.
Right.
This is not a good way to sell tickets, but I do need people to buy tickets. But it's just when your family's like, well, I already bought one. I'm just like, that's so nice. But if they're billionaires, buy all the tickets. Right. Buy literally all the tickets. If someone is a friend and I know that they don't have all the money in the world, I'm like, no, don't do that. And that's why I'd say, besties, don't spend your money on a meet and greet. If you just say you can't afford one, I'll fucking give you one. You know it.
You know why I think that brush is so nice is because it looks like a brush for a horse.
I was gonna say it looks like a pet brush.
Yeah, that might be it. It's just so soft bristled, and I couldn't find any brushes that really do this kind of thing for me. where it doesn't rip my hair, but I can kind of just get through it because my
For
hair
people
is so
listening in
tangled.
audio, you're missing
Oh,
Nikki
yeah.
brushing her hair with a pet brush.
I
It's
think
really
they can
cute.
really hear it.
Or it looks like a brush that you
ASMR.
would come with a doll.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one's like glittery and small, but it's small.
Yes.
It fits in your bag. It looks like a little egg. I don't know what they're called, but like if you just go to the video and see what I'm like, type in egg brush or like
Yeah.
small circular brush. They come in all different colors. I got so many of them because I wanted to hand them out to my friends, but I lose them a lot, so I just kept them all. But yeah, it's my new favorite product as a woman, and I think I probably won't go back. I used to get little because I want a little brush to keep in my purse that doesn't, because all the little brushes have so many tongs or they're the combs. I would rather shave my head off than use a comb. Try to get through my hair with a fucking comb. It would be hell when people are trying to fix my
Who the
hair on
fuck
set and they
uses
use a comb.
What the hell
I'm
is
just
that?
like, get out of here with that. Like it won't pull through my hair.
Whoa. So, you know how
You don't
when you go
use
on Instagram and you go to the search and it just like brings up random videos? For some reason, I don't know why I'm being targeted this, but it's these videos. This is going to freak you out. Of it's like backs of heads getting haircuts, but it's like snipping like really short towards the skull cap.
Okay.
And it's just like cutting hair. Like I don't
Why?
understand it. I don't know why
What's
people
it
do
selling?
this. It's not selling anything. It's just cutting hair in this like very violent way. And I'm like, why am I
No.
getting targeted this?
But I don't understand
Jesus.
what it's targeting you for. On Amazon?
It's
No,
not
no,
an
on
ad, it's just a
Instagram.
video.
On Instagram. Oh.
You know,
when
in,
you
like,
go
the
to your,
Discover
like,
page.
Explore Discover page.
This is
Okay. For some reason, I
content.
was picturing Amazon for some reason. Oh yeah, they think
I
you
got
want to
it.
see that stuff.
Social media is
They think you're
fucking
sick in the
terrible.
head in
I
that
meing,
way.
it's just terrible. It's
But
such a
I have to
waste
go
of fucking
searching
time.
for wart videos. They don't even know
Yeah.
that I want that, and that is what I want. The
They-
things that
they
I
do know
search
that
and
you
want
want
to
it,
see.
but they're like, we're not going to show this to you
We're
anymore.
not going to give it
Nikki.
to her.
They won't give it to me. I have to search it out. God,
Yeah.
there's got to be more good. Like, if you're just joining the show as a new listener, I like seeing videos. I'm not a pimple popper girl. I don't want to see things explode with gushy, like, pus coming out. Disgusting. There's something wrong with you if you like that, even though
Yeah.
most people do. I like
Definitely not me.
hardened things being, like, cut into, like, a wart being, like, severed,
I got something for you.
and then blood coming out in little dots.
I
Like
got
those little
something for you
dots.
you're going to
Ooh,
love.
mama. Yeah.
You got to see The Hoof Doctor.
Oh,
You
I
ever
like
see
that
the-
guy.
Oh,
Oh,
you
yeah,
already
because
seen
it's
the Hoof Doctor?
dry. There's nothing
Yeah.
wet going on.
Yeah.
What is the
I like
Loaf
that.
doctor?
It's a guy who owns a ranch
stuff.
who takes care of horses' hooves. And so
Oh.
the video is just him like, I got a hoof here, and clearly it's got a problem. And then
And
he
they
just
like
starts
hold it in the crook
cutting-
of their hand, really like in the crook of their arm, and the horse
Yeah.
kind of has to just be like, "Meow," and then it,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then he just like digs into it and kits out all this dirt and stuff,
it's-
and like cleans out their hoof to like
I've
change
done it.
their.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah. It's like
looks
whittling
amazing.
or it's a coconut or something. It's
Yes.
so it comes
Yes.
off so smoothly.
Or have you ever scraped plaque off your teeth?
Oh,
Yes.
no, I've never been what do you buy a device?
So I just remember going to the doctor once, and she was like, "You have a lot of plaque behind your lower teeth. Like you got to get in
Yeah.
there with a brush." And I was
Okay.
like, "Oh my god!" And I always have loved the feeling. And sorry, trigger warning if you hate dentist stuff. Taylor's not here, but I like when they scrape on your teeth and pick that stuff off. I can feel it. I like what's going on there. I can never see it though. But
Mhm.
then she told me because your plaque builds up, your gums will recess because it'll keep building, and that
Mhm.
was what makes recessed gums. And then you have like spots for disease to get into your gums and stuff. So she was like, "You got to really keep an eye on that." And so I was like, "Oh, I will." And so like once a month, I just get in there. I'll take like some metal tweezers and I just go and I scrape it off, and I just like scrape.
There's like
You can, like,
hooks.
scrape-
You can get that hook thingy.
I know, and I just never have. I just use tweezers that I literally.
I know
just
what you're
tweeze my
getting for eyebrows
your
your birthday.
So
Yeah.
gross. Oh,
you,
that would be amazing to get a dental kit. Okay, write it down.
It's
Thank
mine.
you,
That's my
Noah.
present.
Oh my god, thanks.
Do
I didn't
you,
get you anything for my birthday?
brush your tongue? Did I talk about this yet? I recently learned that
No.
people are supposed to brush their
You
tongue.
are supposed to, and I never do.
And maybe even the roof of your mouth a little bit, but
Yeah.
mostly you brush your tongue, and then you can buy this thing called a tongue scraper.
Yeah, I
That's
have
like
one.
a little you.
Just looks at me
and-
every day.
Yeah, I mean, so I just learned, and I just started scraping my tongue, and I feel
Makes
like
me
it
gag.
it makes me gag a little bit
Oh
too.
my god! Sometimes you floss your teeth and you get like something comes out and it smells and tastes so fucking bad, and you're like, How
This
is
was
that in my
you.
body?
Yeah.
It's like you know, you have a joke about it, but I've also like thought about whenever I poop, I'm just like, I can't believe I was carrying that around.
Yeah, just walking around.
That
with
was just
poop.
in me,
Yeah, no, it's remarkable.
inches from the
It's-
outside world.
It's insane that, people survived in ancient times because of all this shit that we have to scrape our tongues. Do you think people in ancient times were doing that? And it's just
No,
also
but they
absurd.
didn't have food that we have.
Oh, you think it's all about the processed
Yeah,
food?
I think it's
that's
that.
why we have to scrape our tongues? Well, they
And
also
our-
died when they were like 48.
That's true. By the time they were scraping their tongues, they were dead.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
also it's just absurd how much shit we have to do to maintain
much.
our fucking bodies. And I know I'm a man, blah blah blah, but I'm still a human and I
You
have
still
to do
have to
all
do
this
stuff.
Yeah,
you guys
it's-
have to get more frequent haircuts. I've always felt bad for you in that way.
Yeah.
And that's where my
shaving beard
sympathy ends. No, and the shaving, yes, but
The
we have to shave our
shaving.
legs. That's a bigger surface.
But really, this indignity of falling apart as you get older and all these things start getting worse. You get like more rashes. It's like
Yeah.
you get
I haven't been getting rashes yet. And you know what? The other day, I found myself lying when I didn't need to. Someone who I just like didn't really want to talk to, or like, someone was just making polite conversation who I didn't really want to get into it with, was complaining about getting older. They're probably I think they were around my age, 40-ish, early 40s, and they were complaining about how much their body hurts.
Yeah.
And like how they're just like, oh, it's just being old, and they just go like, it just like, ugh, it sucks and everything hurts or something. And I go, yeah. And I totally don't mean that. Like my body does not hurt at all.
Yeah.
I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. Like I don't feel age on my body yet in any way. I swear to you, I feel the same, maybe not the same energy levels, but in terms of aches and pains on my skeletal system, same as in my 20s. Hasn't changed yet. And I know that's coming for me, but it hasn't happened yet. But I just gave this person that because I'm like, that's just the story we like to tell ourselves about getting old. That's what you got to say. You just got to be like, I'm getting old. You just like say that. And I was even telling a story yesterday about when I was on Dancing with the Stars, and I was like, and I felt so ridiculous. I was in this, leotard. I'm 35. And at the time I'm like, wait, you were 35 and you felt
so
old?
young.
Like, well, bitch, but I go, I didn't even feel old then. You know what? That became part of the story because people just say 35 is old. And you start to hear people on social media talking about, oh, when I'm in my 30s. Catherine Blanford, one of my favorite comedians, just did the Tonight Show last night, and she was talking about being in her 30s versus being in her 20s, and she's 32, and was like, well, I'm 32, so I don't do full body shots or whatever, like when I'm taking a picture or something like that. And I'm just like, why is this a part of? And she's hilarious. Her set was amazing, but and I do this too. But it's like we just adopt this language that like we get old. We just fall into it, and I don't even believe it. And I gave this guy, yeah, getting older, and then he didn't mean that, right? Like he said something. He was talking about something else, and so then I started. Then everyone was like, "Oh, you mean your body is like hurting?" I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, wait, no. Wait,
No,
I just
you
was
have to-
lying to agree with you. Like, it was just like this. But I go, why did I just give that to him? Because it's just so much easier to say the thing that everyone bitches about, which
Yeah.
is like, oh, you get up and you have to make a noise. And
but it perpetuates it.
in the morning, I have to stretch because everything's tight. It's like, it just doesn't, I have to embrace this time right now in my life where I don't feel that way. I know it's
Maybe
coming.
you'll never feel that way. Maybe,
Yeah.
there's like people,
Are
there's
there
like
people
old,
that don't feel pain?
there are like old men in Indonesia
Okinawa?
who are carrying water
Yeah.
buckets over their head, and they're like, their backs are all twisted, and they're like 98 years old. They have no teeth, and they're like, I feel no pain. Or there's that story of that guy who played hockey into his 90s, and he just kept playing hockey, ice skating, getting hit. And he's like, I don't feel any pain at all. And it's because it's just all mental. It's in your head.
It totally is.
Like you just have
It's-
to be like, you have to treat yourself like a boomer treats emotions when it comes to pain.
Push 'em.
Just push them down. If you feel an ache in your elbow, don't focus on it. Just be like, that's just how it is. And eventually it'll just become part of your norm and it won't bother you.
No, you say, listen, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, elbow. You're hurting right now because mentally I'm going through something tough and you're trying to get my attention about it because I'm not listening to it in my brain. Like if I get a cold, this is my cold sore talk. If I feel a cold sore coming on, I've done it once before. I made a cold sore disappear. I've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I just say, thank you so much, cold sore. You can go. I hear the message. I'm doing too much. I'm stressed out. I'm not addressing my emotions. I got it. I will definitely work on this. You don't need to show up. And it fucking went away. And like, if you just like think of your aches and pains as like, not like, what is this going to be, a tumor? Is this cancer? If you go to that, like, don't go there if you can.
Yep.
Force yourself to just be like, okay, what is my body trying to tell me right now? Oh, I overdid it yesterday at the gym. Oh, back pain is 90% of the time. I would probably go up to 95% of the time. Something you're struggling with in your brain. And I know you don't want to hear that because your L7 is impacted and your pinched nerve and your bulging disc and all the things you hear about from the doctor, and you can see it on the x-ray. Those things are normal abnormalities in the back. They should not hurt as much as they do. Your back chooses to make them feel a lot of pain because you're rerouting your mental anguish into that nerve that is a little bit painful, but it shouldn't be the pain that the reason you can't walk is because you need to focus on your anger with your dad. It's not about your pinched nerve, unfortunately. Yeah. And if you want to hear more about it, read Healing Back Pain by Dr. John Sarno.
I'm even taking it a step further and saying, like, if you have actual physical problems of just the body degrading over time, even those you can just learn to not bother. It can not bother you. I've seen people do it. I've seen my dad do it, where it's like, right. He like had a broken toe for like 2 full years. And he just was not addressing this toe because he wanted to keep playing volleyball. And he was like, yeah, it's broken. It maybe hurts sometimes. I'm fine. And it just kept playing. And then eventually he addressed it.
And he was beating his wife during this whole time. So he did get it out in other places.
Yes. He beat her.
You have to find another outlet, but you can withstand the pain. No, there's a...
Yeah, he would beat her with an egg-shaped brush.
That would be actually soothing. This thing is very light. No, there's a meditation I do on the Waking Up app called... it's like for pain management. You just type in the word pain and you can find it. But I would do it when I got migraines. And he says in that you're just supposed to focus on your pain. And if you meditate enough and have enough mindfulness, you can separate your thoughts, meaning like, even your thoughts about pain from yourself, and you won't feel the pain. And that's why there are monks that can like self-immolate and just sit there. Mm-hmm. Like they're on literal fire and they're not thrashing around. They're just smiling. You've seen it. He says that there is no, he's like, there's really no bound for if you become mindful enough, what pain you can't endure as a human. Yeah. There's really, it's boundless. And he's like, I'm not there where I could probably do something like that. Like, but it is interesting that through our own minds, we can figure out a way to circumnavigate pain, which is good news for people. But that pain meditation helps so much. If anyone's in chronic pain, I really recommend the Waking Up app. You can get it for free. Search pain and just do the meditation for pain. It made me so I could fall asleep at night when I had migraines, and nothing else helped. So, obviously Tylenol as soon as they came on would help, but once it was on, Tylenol would not help. And you know what I'm talking about if you get migraines. And so that meditation was really good. What was that, Brian?
Well, that's a side note about people who set themselves on fire and protest. There was a guy who did it recently, and haven't we learned by now that doesn't do anything? Like, it's not
it's like throwing soup at the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, it's like somebody set themselves on fire, I think, to protest Gaza or something recently. And it's like, that will not, you'll just die. And it won't move the needle at all. I personally think any protest doesn't actually do anything. But like, even...
What?
I
you were marching with the writers this summer.
Well, that's not a protest. That's a strike. That's withholding labor.
Okay.
But like, I did Occupy Wall Street back in 2011. Remember that?
Oh my God, whatever happened with that?
Exactly. Or the Women's March.
I think you guys just wanted to camp.
That's exactly.
Men in Manhattan just was sick of living in tiny apartments, and you wanted to be outdoors.
That march,
put up a tent and have your little Coleman, stove top.
Well, wound up being like a homeless encampment eventually after.
Yeah.
But that march, all it did was it just wasted our energy. Like, we could have been using that energy to organize in a more effective way. And
that's why I like sit-ins.
Sit-ins
You're not marching.
you're relaxing.
You just get to sit. Like the John Lennon, Yoko Ono. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lay in.
I guess sometimes it raises awareness, but like, so now we're all aware of the 99% or whatever, but nothing changed.
Yeah.
We all would have been better off working at grocery stores
like to read
and putting half
that.
our paycheck towards...
Anything changed. All right, well, we'll get into this more. Probably not when we get back from this. Stay with us. Yeah. How do you enact change? You know, there was a person the other day on the sidewalk that
It's like an NPR
had
opening.
how do you enact change? Well, the other day I was walking down the street and I saw a man with a clipboard. Everyone's very active in St. Louis right now. It's spring has sprung. So there's like people singing on the sidewalk. Like yesterday, there was like 3 girls that were just pressed play on a boombox and we're just like, show it swing my way.
Yeah.
Show looks good to me. And I'm like,
The joy of a winter
you could just do
engine.
that? What if
Yeah.
I just took a fucking little Bose speaker out on the street and just sang Taylor Swift next to a Bose speaker?
Yeah,
I could
you
do that.
Could do it.
could.
And
if
put
you're-
out a little jar.
But these were little
public space.
girls.
No, they were like in their 20s.
Oh yeah, so you could do it.
You don't know, if you're a little girl, you don't know show it swing my way. I guess I could do it, but it was just like, wow, everyone's just like, that's what you do now instead of Uber Eats, is you just put a fucking tin can and you start singing along to a karaoke track of your favorite song. But I loved it. But there was a guy with a clipboard that said, legalize abortion. And he was like, do you want to legalize abortion? And I was walking with 2 guys. And so they were like, no, I don't care, you know? And then I was like, yeah, I do. And I go, what is this? You know, because here's the thing. I would have usually just walked by, but I just finished reading this book that I recommend everyone read. And it's so funny, when I put it on my Instagram story, so many people wrote to me. I'm probably like 3 people probably separately said to me, I loved this so much, it should be required reading in high schools. And I was like, I don't usually get that feedback a lot on books that I mention. But this one, it's called Know My Name. It's by Chanel Miller. And Chanel Miller was the rape victim in the Brock Turner case. And she is fucking incredible. She's one of the best writers I've ever read. She just so happens to be like, she was always going to be a writer. She was always going to be a name you knew because she is so incredible at writing. But she just so happens to also have been the girl that Brock Turner, at a frat party, she was blackout drunk and she was found being fingered by him next to a dumpster on the Stanford campus. And luckily 2 bicyclists saw it happening and he gave chase. They tackled him and he got caught. Otherwise, she would have woken up and probably had been actually raped by this guy and not known anything because he would have left her there because he was a piece of shit. So, but the intimidation she faces from the public when she's just a Jane Doe, her whole experience going through this, it's just such a great read about just being a survivor, going through any kind of really hard time in your life when life throws you a curveball. It's just a book about not just like about rape and you know, toxic masculinity, all those things, but it's just so much more. It's like, I just feel like it opened up a part of me that needed to be opened in terms of like empathy. And although obviously I already had empathy for rape victims, it's just the next level. Like literally everyone needs to read this. It will change the way you think about things. It's not just a book that I'm like, it's important. It's important. It's just like, it will make you a better person. And it is a great read, even though it's not as tough of a read as it sounds like based on what I'm saying. It's actually one that it's kind of a page turner.
I gotta say, if you're a parent and you name your kid Brock, you're asking for it.
I know.
That kid
Who is
is
Brock
going to try to
Turner?
rape somebody.
Brock Turner.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
is he
give me
like
a
the
break.
Brockman Turner Overdrive. He that's a name. That's his name. He was a swimmer. It doesn't really matter what he was. All I have to say is that like
I don't know if he's famous.
when you are accused of rape, everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, this kid's bright future. What could he have been? This one night he made a mistake. Think of all the things he could have been."
Yeah.
And yet for
I
her,
don't think everyone says that. Not
sorry,
everyone.
obviously I'm hyperbolizing, but like the media, there was a lot of that, not just from his defense team. Like he was even talked about like in the Washington Post as like a swimmer. Like a
Oh my
future
God.
Olympic swimmer, something like that. Like it
What
was
year
like,
was
what?
this? Do
He
you know?
wasn't even in the
Tragedy
Olympics.
of him, but the tragedy that befell him when he tried to rape somebody.
Yes.
Oh,
It
if
really
only
was.
His life shook out a different
This
way.
girl
maybe.
does not. She does not go after him at all in this book. Honestly,
Mhm.
she has so much empathy for him, more than I would ever have, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty enriched in empathy, and so this is not just like look at all these people and how they came after me, and look what they said about him, and look at what they said about me. It really, like, she gives fucking evidence for it. Like, she shares articles, things that were written. This is a thing that happens with like rapists that maybe are just it's a date rape thing where it's like they're not a serial rapist. It was one night in his life. He was drunk. He made a drunken mistake. Yet her one night, no one ever mentioned about her future and how this threw her off track.
Right.
It was all about, what was she before this? Did she binge drink a lot? How many boyfriends did she have? Why did she get so drunk? Was she looking to cheat on her boyfriend? Was she just calling this rape so that she could cover it up because she had a boyfriend and she didn't want him to know that she got fingered laying in a pile of dead leaves and pine cones and trash next to a dumpster, like every girl has ever dreamed of? We all love getting fingered by a dumpster. So why did she do this? And it's like, it's just this, it just makes, it fires you up. But anyway, part of the book was that this judge gave him like no time. She got fucked over by this
Pursue
judge.
your dreams of swimming.
Yeah. And
he's not going to be a
days.
a swimmer is, if he's a rapist, he's not going to be a
who's
swimmer.
Who's ever given a fuck about swimmers until this kid? Like, who even Michael Phelps is the only swimmer, and Mark Spitz, if you're old enough. Those are Katie Ledecky. Name another swimmer. Summer Sanders. You don't give a fuck about swimming. Who gives a shit if this guy would have been a good swimmer? You wouldn't have known his name because he's not as good as Michael Phelps, and he never will be. You know?
Oh,
so
we
who cares?
lost such a great swimmer.
Oh, it would have been so fun to follow his career. When have you gone to a swim meet in your life? Shut up.
Yeah.
And this is obviously like 20 men.
And then if he did have the career, and then he went to the Olympics, they always do those clips before they enter the race of like where their life has been and their tragedies. And they would probably be like Brock Turner overcome raping someone and making
just one bad decision changed the course of his life. It's like, that's what crime is called. I just don't even know why. What are we reframing it for as like this tragedy? And but anyway, in the thing, she gets people. She writes the statement. Or like she writes a statement to read to the judge during his sentencing. The statement gets picked up by BuzzFeed, goes completely viral. Hillary Clinton quotes it after she loses the election. She's like, I read her statement again to remind myself like that I'm not alone, because this girl's and she was a Jane Doe at the time. This is before she came out with her name. And it just goes extremely viral on BuzzFeed. And then the judge gives like a very lenient sentencing, and he says all these really inappropriate things during it. He's having so much compassion for Brock and his poor family, and he he barely lets her get out her statement.
That reminds me of the Olympic girls who were assaulted by the doctor.
She talks about them. Oh my God. She found so much strength from them because while she was a Jane Doe and waiting to see if it was either she was waiting for her trial or she was waiting to see if he was going to appeal it. She watched that trial and talks a lot about all those women and how much strength they gave her because they were just standing and looking at him dead in the eye. And she's talked about that judge and how that judge was the opposite of her judge. Her judge was like rushing her through her statement. That judge let 139 women read their statements to him over the course of many days. 139. Can you believe that? That is, he or she gave those girls space to have every victim heard. It was such an incredible thing to do. And she said, that's a really good judge. So anyway, the people were so upset about this ruling. She had nothing to do with it. They took it upon themselves to get this Persky guy thrown the fuck out. But what they needed first was signatures. And I don't know. I've always thought about signatures as like, do they really fucking mean anything? It's just like my dumb signature. And really, am I going to end up on some list? And now I'm going to get messages from Amy Klobuchar every day for the rest of my life. And even though I keep saying, stop, stop, stop. And then they have to tell you, you unsubscribed. I'm like, when I say stop, I don't need reassurance that it's unsubscribed. Just end it. Don't tell me you unsubscribed me. No more.
No.
Amy Klobuchar.
Rest assured, we have we have received your stop message.
We're so sad to see you go.
I know. Give me a break.
You.
Or what about the survey? Please tell us why you've decided to stop receiving our emails. And then they give you 5 options.
And you have to read all that shit to just find other. I hate this product and I never used it and I don't know how I got signed up for it in the first place.
I never signed up for it in the first place is almost always the answer.
Yes, that is always. So anyway, when this abortion guy said, hey, do you want to sign? I go, yeah, I'm signing because I learned, she just taught me how these 198,000 signatures got this judge to be overthrown. And how it really did matter, and how all these people were out with clipboards in the sun, and they were just doing something they believed in. So I went up to the guy and I go, so is this isn't some like trick thing where it's like I think I'm signing a thing about legalizing abortion, but it's actually the opposite? And he goes, no, read the fine print. And I go, I know how these motherfuckers do what they do. Like, so I read the fine print. It actually was. So I signed it, and I go, oh, wait a second. Is this a list Trump is going to look at when he decides to have public hangings? Is this the list? And he laughed and he goes, oh, well, there's 72,000 signatures so far, so he'd have to do a lot. And I go, oh, he'd do that many.
Yeah,
he'd be like that second judge and go through every single one of them. I'm like, is this the list that he's going to refer to? Okay, you know what? I don't even want to live in that world anywhere. Hang me in public for saying that I want abortion legalized. I don't care. But yeah, it does get you on a list. But I think just want to remind people that those people out there with clipboards, they're not all, it's not nefarious all the time. Sometimes it is a really good
always
cause,
ask them,
and it's important.
Well, sometimes they're volunteers, but sometimes they get paid. So I like to
Which
ask.
is
that's okay. That's
because
okay.
they're being paid by a nonprofit. Yeah,
the
I know, but
organization
then-
is just hiring people to do it, and
Right.
Yeah.
And then you just look into the nonprofit and you see if you agree with what they're pushing.
Yes.
I've been a guy. I've been a signature getter guy before.
Oh, yeah?
To try to shut down the oil field in Culver City, which has happened. I've
Wow.
collected signatures, and it's
What's your
I mean,
approach?
you go, well, it was easy for me because I'm in Culver City. I'm a resident of Culver City, and I'm
People
going
don't
to
know
be
that when you're wearing
collecting-
the Culver
I wear a
Cougars
shirt that's
cap or
well,
something.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Culver Hooters cap. It's actually a Shakey's. Ever been to a Shakey's?
No,
What
but
a
I've seen
weird
them all
name.
over.
Yes. No, because you just go, hey, trying to get the oil field shut down. You kind of like relate to them on the fact, like, do you know there's an oil field right there? And they go, what? And they're like wheeling their baby through the park, like right next to an oil field. And it's like, yeah, there's an oil field over there with active oil wells that are releasing methane gas every day, and it's seeping into your water. Do you want to sign this to stop that? And then
My
usually they
goodness.
do. Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. But were you getting paid to do it?
$50,000 an hour. Yeah, pretty good. I was actually
Pretty
the
good
oil
rate.
company was paying me, and then I would take the list and we would hang the.
Well, this is the thing with those abortion. You know those clinics that are like, "Are you pregnant?" You hear about on the radio. Call us. Are you pregnant and scared? Call us. We'll give you counseling. If I was a pregnant teen, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I don't have to tell my parents I want to get an abortion. This bitch will like help me figure out a way to do that." You know, like, I don't want to have this kid. I'm scared. You know, they're preying on my, like, are you scared? Why would you be scared about a baby if you wanted it? So they're literally reaching out to girls who want to terminate pregnancies, kind of is what their messaging is. And then you go there,
that's tricky.
and it's a fucking Christian organization that then talks you into having the baby and scares you and makes you feel guilty for even considering wanting to keep it. They like make you listen to its heartbeat. They make you name it. They make you start picking out colors for its nursery. Like they don't those
make you
places
name
are
it
fucking
Brock.
bad. Yeah, they make you name it Brock. But I think John Oliver did a whole piece on those places, but they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they owe it.
That's
but you see the
deceitful.
signs for it, and it's so deceitful because if I were a girl whose parents didn't have a family that would support my decision to terminate a pregnancy, I would have 100% called one of those numbers because it looks like they are reaching out a helping hand to help you figure out how to keep the life that you want, and they're not.
That
They're just gonna
reminds me
shame
of like
you.
the time in Times Square, people barking people to go to a comedy show.
Oh, and promising that George Carlin will be there,
Yeah.
even though he died 8 years ago.
Yes. And then you go there, and they're just like, and it's just like a bunch of people who probably should have been aborted.
Yeah, it's that would happen all the time, and sometimes they would say someone would message me and said you were supposed to be at the show, and I'm like, I don't know why they're using my name, or they'd say a live comedy taping. I'm like, there is not a
Oh
live
my
comedy
God.
taping tonight, and that really does reel people in. They want to be on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's scams all over. Now there's a scam I heard about where they'll call you from your bank, and it will be the number of
Oh,
your bank's
God.
customer service number. So if you Google it while you're on the phone being like, is this a scam? The number will come up as, no, that's Bank of America's number. So just if your bank calls you, hang up and call them back and check on whatever they were just checking on. I think that's just a good rule. No matter who, just if there's a fraud alert, be like, Yeah, I'm gonna call you back and check this. Like you start it because it's just too shady, man.
Yeah, these
It's all
scammers are getting
Answers their
good.
phone anyway for like an 800 number.
I can't even imagine doing that. I can't imagine it. I don't think the one time I did it, they were asking me to do the Tonight Show. The one time I had the impulse to go, it's a private number. Maybe I should answer it. It was the Tonight Show calling to be like we had a fallout, and that was in 2009. I wasn't answering my January 2009. I was not answering my phone back then, even because I was getting solicitors. But now I would never do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is weird when someone calls you. It totally means something really terrible aside. Now I actually do pick up when my friends call me because it 100% means something's really wrong. Right?
Well, I used to think that, and now I would tell that to people, and now I get more phone calls from people who are just like, just call in the chat. And now I'm like no longer feeling that anxiety when I get a phone call.
I love a voice memo. I just say voice memo me if you really want to communicate this in a shorter way than typing it, because then my phone's going to type it up for me because the new update, they just transcribe it. So I don't even have to
it's
listen
not
to your
really to
voice
say
memo.
something short. It's to have like a long conversation about
Well, that's
whatever.
nice too.
Yeah.
I talked on the phone last night for a while to my friend, and that was really like we probably went an hour and 27 minutes. I was like, man, this could have been a podcast.
What a waste.
That's all I think about my life in term of podcasting time. No, it feels so good to talk on the phone. It's something we probably should do more of and not isolate ourselves, but but we're also fucking lonely.
Yeah. I mean,
People are like so lonely out there. I was talking about it the other day. I was doing this shoot, and me and my makeup artist were talking about how lonely people are. And this guy was in the room kind of just like filming B-roll footage. And we weren't even talking to him because he was just filming and not supposed to be a part of the conversation. And he was like, I have a family, and during COVID, I was lonely.
wow.
And we were just like, whoa, man. He's like, I have a full family that I was living with. And in the middle of the night, I couldn't wake up my wife to talk, and I just had no one to call. And I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
People need community. People need places to go. People need friends. People need girls' chats.
Mm-hmm.
You have boys' chat.
I have voice chat.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I always say this, like people are seeking out community now more than ever. You can go on like Reddit, I guess, and then feel worse, but
no, there's some good areas in Reddit.
There's some good areas in Reddit.
Yeah.
If you're having a real problem, going on Reddit has been helpful for me. If you're having
Whoa,
like,
are you serious?
What do you
Like
mean,
you
like a real
shared about a problem on Reddit?
yeah,
Like an emotional problem?
like for example, like now I'm on like the TMJ Reddit, and I'm posting like my
Right.
experiences with, and like the people on there like are like supportive and want to help and
Yes.
give advice. And it's really nice to talk to some people who have gone through the same thing that you're going through.
If you have a planner's wart, go to the Warts subreddit,
Yeah.
and half of us will just ask you to stick a rusty nail in it and
Yes.
shave it off with just cuticle clippers that you haven't cleaned. But some people there will offer you actual advice. But there are sickos in there that just want you to be, we want you to like document your pain. It's like half people that are like, rip that thing out. Just pull it out. People always go rusty pliers. And then other people are like, you can use apple cider vinegar every night, shave it down, debride it. Then you can use the Swift treatment. Like there's actual treatments, but then there's sickos. But yeah,
Yep.
there's even, I follow the subreddit depression. There are constantly people on there that are like, I'm killing myself tomorrow. And then I constantly see them get talked out of it because all these people come to the rescue and are like, call me right now. You think no one cares about you? I care about you. I'll literally talk to you right now. And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, there's something. It's like this little beautiful corner of the internet that's like the
Well,
opposite.
people are really nice.
I know.
and
That's
compassionate.
that's why man, the internet is such a fucked up place because there's so much hate and there's so many people just ripping people down. But then there's this like little 3% of the internet where there are these like little nice communities where
Yeah.
actually people help each other. But most of it is just pure like vitriol, racism, and hatred.
I know, but is that so? It's like, what's natural? Is it that there's more people who are compassionate and empathetic, but we just can't find them because the algorithm pushes the other stuff up, so it could pollute our minds with all this negative shit?
I
Or
think
what?
that we're all both, and the side of
Yeah.
us that is like mean and cruel and vindictive is winning out because we're so isolated and because we're all addicted to our phones and we don't have community. So we all have it in us to be both, I think.
Well, the
Most
number
people
one
do,
thing I think
And
is that
society is driving us towards the bad.
you have the ability to be anonymous also. And when you can be anonymous, you can be a huge piece of shit to anybody.
It's been talked about ad nauseum about like when you can be like the difference between being anonymous and not. Like it's David Spade used to tell me that the only way celebrities would ever get taken down back in the 90s was literally when he would do that Weekend Update segment called Showbiz Showdown. That was the only time celebrities heard actual joking, sometimes mean feedback about what they were doing. You know, when he said like, I went and saw The Bodyguard this weekend and I want my money back. Like that kind of thing. He got in so much trouble with, there's still celebrities to this day that don't talk to David Spade because of his 90s segment. Because there was can you imagine? Nowhere else. Sometimes maybe it was Joan Rivers on like a red carpet show. That was maybe in the early 2000s. It started to get mean about celebrities. And then it was Us Weekly, and it would be that back page that would make fun of their outfits, and comedians would make fun. But there was not constant comments from anyone talking about anything they want all the time. And now with YouTube comments, they're on a scroll. So like if you don't even want to read comments, you have to read them, and they keep serving up new ones. And I'm like I don't want anyone's I hate it. I don't want any. I want to go search comments if I want them. Stop giving me unsolicited comments from people that I don't need, that are just
that's true,
manipulating how I perceive this thing. I used to like it, and now I don't, because this fucking asshole who I don't even know who he is. And then I talked to someone recently who got so much criticism about someone. I wish I remembered what it was. It could have been something I was watching. And then someone goes, how many people have said this to your face? And it's like, this was like a mega star. I forget who, I think it was something I watched it on. And they go, so how many people have said this to your face? And they're really struggling with how much backlash there was about this performance or whatever they did. And they go, no one. Literally no one. Can you imagine that celebrity in the 90s would have had none of the negative feedback that they got?
Yeah.
None. Maybe a review in the New York Times if you were lucky. That fan mail, but you would have to write. Like, it was so hard to get a letter written.
Yeah, can you
imagine? And people
imagine
were happy in the 90s.
Someone just trying to write, you're a fucking loser, and write that on a letter?
And those people would kill you. It would be the easiest way to find the people that were going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, amongst all of the comments that you get, because somewhere in there, someone would kill you. And it's hard to find which, but that's
such a funny thing. If people had to write their comments in letters. I just don't find women funny. And then they put that in a letter. They go to the post office and get a stamp.
Ugh.
I mean, then I would take it. If they went through that much trouble.
They made the effort.
Yeah.
Camel toe, TOW. And you're like, oh, you couldn't even. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's just, we should not have all these opinions, and not only me as like 100%. A celebrity or whatever shouldn't have these opinions. You and me as a consumer should not have everyone's opinions about everything we fucking consume.
That's
except
right.
I'm Just Ken is the best thing I've ever watched.
Have them, just don't have to comment
just be
on
positive.
Everything.
My new thing is like, I am trying my damnedest. I'll tell you after the break. Wait, Brian has to go. Okay, Brian, well, you're going to miss what I'm going to tell you, but it doesn't matter.
Well,
you'll hear it later.
Yes.
Brian has to go. Where are you going? Oh, a meeting or something.
I got a meeting, yeah.
Ooh, cool. All right.
Man on campus.
Tell us what happens with that oil rig.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Later. All right, we're back. Okay, this new thing I'm doing is I am trying to be zero negativity online anymore.
Okay, I'm trying to be zero negativity in general.
Okay, let's share what we've been doing. Like, what's something that you found yourself going like, I would have done it, and then I just stopped myself. Have you done anything like that recently?
So for me, it's more about like negative self-talk and just like reframing how I would say something about myself, or that I want, or like I look forward to, or something like that.
Instead of I have to go do this.
Instead of I need, there's no need. There's I would enjoy having that, or something like that. Or I'm gonna work
I would enjoy food, shelter, and water and air. But
yeah, so mine is more like, it's actually what you were talking about earlier about like those monks who don't feel pain. I'm trying to do gentle birthing, which is like a form of natural birth. Just gonna try. I don't know if it'll work. But I'm not putting any expectations.
You should have asked my mom yesterday. She had us both naturally.
Oh, okay, great. I'll text her and ask her.
You really should. I don't know how she did it.
Well,
it's incredible.
From what I'm reading, it's like it's like labor and childbirth and all that, like the whole thing about it being painful and like a terrible experience and you're just kind of like wrung out at the end. That was all from like
Cultural.
the 1300s, shuttled in by priests to punish women, where before that women were celebrated. It involved community. It was, like you just kind of squat down, pull the baby out, and that's it. Like it's not, your body it could be painless.
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
Well, I think you're so right. Like we just go along with whatever society is kind of telling us what that experience is. Oh, you're turning 40?
Yes.
Okay, well, back pain starts. It's just like this meme culture of like what we are, how we should experience life. We just fall in line with in so many ways.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
Like
good.
us taking that in and then speaking it out loud is perpetuating it. We can, like, I really believe that we can change that.
I do too. I flew in my music producer this week to write a song because I just want to work on writing an album.
Yay.
And we wrote a song before together so easily. So I didn't write a song prior to this. Like last time I brought in a song and then he helped me shape it. But this time I just didn't get around to writing the song. But the night I gave myself on Monday night, I was like, I have to write the song. We're starting yesterday morning, Tuesday. And Monday night, I was just like, couldn't bring myself to do it. So I just started being like, I can't believe we wrote like the greatest song. Like I kept doing that thing of like, can't believe I'm writing the greatest song will ever write this week. Like, I can't believe this song just flew out of me so naturally and helped me deal with like what I was actually experiencing in life. Like I just started talking about what the song would bring me.
Positive.
Like,
Yes.
and it's yesterday he got here and we kind of worked on something. He had like brought an idea. And so we were like writing to track, I guess is what it's called. Like he came in with a track and then we were writing to that. And I started with the like concept. But I was really struggling with it because like I am going through feelings that I'm not ready to like share publicly yet, I guess is my point. Like I would kind of compare it. It's not the same thing, but I think Taylor Swift, get ready for Swift Corner. She released Midnights in October of 2022. And then she and Joe broke up in the spring of 2023. But when she released Midnights, there's like lots of love songs on there. And I've talked about this before, but Midnights has always, even when it came out, it was a breakup album to me. I was like, ultimately, this is about a relationship that is not doing well. But she couldn't say that explicitly. It's all like when you now look at it through the lens of, oh my God, their
Right.
relationship was falling apart during this, you see it so clearly, but she wasn't free to do that because she was still in the relationship. So like
Here's
the
the
things I
thing,
want to talk
though.
about, I can't because I'm still struggling with them, like the career decisions that I'm wanting to write about.
But by the
they haven't
time it
been made
comes
yet.
out, because it takes a little bit of time to produce an album and to master the
Yes.
tracks and all of that. Just
That's
think about
true.
you in the future and how you'll feel probably a little
And
bit
you
better.
just have to write
releasing it.
metaphorically, and you have to go, oh, like even if the people that I don't want to hear this, they won't think it's about them.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
I mean, doesn't that kind of relate to writing comedy and performing stuff on stage?
Yeah, with it totally does. Comedy though, it's not as emotional,
Hmm.
and it can be. And comedy, I feel safe. I can say whatever I want because at live shows, none of the people that I'm talking about are ever there, and no one's recording because you can't record stuff there. So it's not going to live anywhere until I decide it's ready to live somewhere. And by the time I take my next special, this issue will be resolved that I'm working on stage. So my live shows really are a place where I feel the most free to express myself, and I don't struggle with this thing. And it's kind of weird because when you're struggling, if I could ask Taylor Swift anything today, I would ask her, how weird is it when you have written like a very vulnerable song that is so emotional and you have to present it to like your guy friends? And it's like
Oh.
filled with girl feelings, you know? And like how does that feel? I guess I could ask any female musician that, like, or any musician really, just like, what does it feel like to write let's say a breakup song if you're going through like really woe is me, like really sappy feelings, and then
They
you're like, you
probably
play for
like
this like
it.
cool guy.
I mean, if they're music, I mean, Anya would be a great person to ask, but they probably enjoy
No,
letting that
I
out
can't
and
ask her.
having.
Just kidding. Yeah, you're right. I
People
could just
hear
ask
it.
her. She literally is a phone call away. But would she pick up? Yes, she would. Yeah, you're right. It's probably they probably like it. And the thing is, that was something that was really scary for me to do in starting to write music, was like, okay, I'm going to share this with like actual musicians who've been doing this for 20 years. Like, are they going to be like, yeah, that's a good idea? Like the way sometimes when people tell me here's a joke idea, and I'm like, oh boy, like, but these guys, I'm paying them to like actually treat this like a real thing. Like if someone brought me a joke, some of the joke ideas I've been brought that are so bad, you couldn't pay me to lie to them and say it's good. So I'm like, are these guys are they being paid to lie to me?
Now you're making it negative because you're saying, oh, they only want to work with me because I'm paying them. This is only.
Well, I've said that several times to them, and he's like, no. I said, oh.
They could turn you down and say, actually, I can't, like, no, I only take
you're
Madonna.
Right. Well, my friend Dan Monahan, who's from the band The Dog and Everything, he writes with the Plain White Tees. He's my guy, and we have become such good friends that I flew him in this week. And yesterday I was like, can we stop? As soon as Tim Convey, my boyfriend's brother, is like kind of the taskmaster of the group and is like really wants to move things along, and like, he's like a producer vibe. Yeah, he's a musician as well, but he also has a baby and a family and a house far away. So I flew Dan in from Chicago to come write with me, and he's staying at the hotel next to my apartment. So him and I like didn't have a talk about what this week was. Even I was just like, hey, I want to write another song. Come down. This was a few weeks ago. So he's here, and we meet up yesterday. And I sent him a few songs of like things I wanted it to sound like. And we sit down yesterday and I go, I just want to tell you I did not write a song. Because last time I wrote a song and I had something for us to work on. I was like, I got nothing. I got a couple ideas in my phone, a couple lines. And he's like, it's fine, dude. It's fine.
How it starts.
So that, yeah, I did. And I don't know this. So I was just like, felt guilty. But then I was like, oh, wait, even if I do nothing, I'm going to pay this person and I'll feel okay about it because I won't have wasted his time. My fear is that I'm wasting his time. He could be off writing and producing with someone else that would actually, they produce something and I might not this week. Like I thought I'd be in the mood to write a song this week.
You could also
I'm kind of not.
You could also see it as like, this is this guy's profession, and he probably gets a lot of joy and
he does.
Self-worth, or he's
amazing,
purposeful, helping people get from I came here with nothing to a fully produced song.
And that is so true about him. He does love it. And he told me, I go, this is like a passion project for me. I really don't have a deadline. I'm not like super like we got to get this done. So it might be like a gradual process. And I was like, so if you ever, just so you know, that's kind of how I'm approaching it. And I'll always pay you for your time. Like if we don't write anything, don't think that that's like a failure unless you want to, and then you don't have to show up. Like it's totally up to you. And he was like, this is a passion project for me too. And he was like, I just like hanging out. So yesterday, as soon as Tim left to go like take care of his family, he was like, okay, so you guys are going to work on this. We're going to get the bridge. We're going to do this. Final thought. Tim Convey's like, you're going to get this. You're going to work on the bridge. You're going to finish up that thought. I think maybe we should take the lyrics in this direction. He like gives us all these prompts and then he leaves. And then Dan, I was like, can I play you a couple songs that I've like liked listening to? I was like, now I'm like trying to get him into Taylor Swift. And then I was like, can you teach me how to play this on the guitar? So now we are like, Nikki Glaser has gotten the thing off track, as I do. Like, he said something yesterday about like, yeah, if I really want to work on a song, I'll work with this person who like will keep me on track. And I'm like, and if you want to eat skinny pop all day and hang out on my balcony and talk about life, you'll work with Nikki Glaser, because I love not doing work. I love finding other things to like waste our time. So we watched Seinfeld. We jammed out to Taylor Swift. We sang karaoke. We just did. And by the end of the day, I was like, Tim wrote back and was like, so how's it going? I'm like, we literally haven't done anything for the song since you left. And he was like, okay, but I think we have a hit on our hands. And I'm like, you're right. We do. We have not taken even a single step in that direction, but we just had a good bonding day. And we are closer than ever. And that's what this day was about. So it ended up being such a great day. He left at like 10 o'clock and was like, I think this was one of the best days of my life. And I was like, dude, this is the life. Like beautiful spring day in St. Louis, walking around, getting Starbucks, getting takeout, talking about life, sharing like as friends. It was just so fun. And like just playing and singing music. So today we got to buckle down and write. And I am looking forward to it because I think I have an actual premise for the song. But what I've been doing though on Instagram, like I've been wanting, usually if I see something on Instagram I want to make fun of, it's the way someone's dressed, the way someone looks, something they've done to their face that I want to go, what did she do to her face? Or like, nah. I just shoot it off to Anya and we make fun of it in our DMs. Like that's just what I do. It's what I've always done. If I want to make fun of someone, if I want to go, I love making fun of people behind their backs on Instagram. It's one of my favorite things to do with my personal friends, my close friends who I trust, who will not that would never get out. I always double check that I'm not sending the post of the person to the person.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yes.
But then yesterday I was about to send one off and I was like, why?
Right.
Would you say this to their face, Nikki? No, you never would. And if this actually accidentally you did send it to them instead of her, how would that affect your life? So fucking negatively. And also, do you want people doing this about you? 100% no. So I just didn't send it. And you know what? I don't even remember what it was. It was not important. I didn't need to send off that negative, judgmental bullshit that I usually send off. And will it ruin my relationships with certain people? Sure. Because like drinking, when you stop drinking,
yep,
you fall away from the people you used to drink with. And people go, I don't want to lose those friends. You won't want them because you'll realize all that was keeping you together was drinking. So if Anya and I have so much more of a friendship than talking shit about celebrities. So that I know can slip away without me losing anything that we have. And also I was talking shit to Dan, my producer. I was telling some story. No. This was the other night. I was talking to a friend about a comedian who just had a scandal last week. And, I was asking Brian, I go, did you hear about blah, blah, blah? And he goes, no. And I was like, so, and I go, actually, if you haven't heard about it, let's pretend it didn't happen. Like, actually, I don't even think the thing was true because the person is like suing for defamation. So like, I'm going to support this person and not spread it more. Even though it sounded so juicy the way I was like, oh my God, did you hear about it? And he was like, wait, what? And I go, I'm sad I'm even put that out there. I don't want to talk shit anymore. My friend Rick Glassman, I talked to him recently and I hung out with him for an extended amount of time and he's just like, doesn't talk shit about people.
Gossiping is really toxic. And you know something?
It's really annoying at first, but he's right.
It's kind of like what you said about sobriety, because when I was consciously trying to stop gossiping at a work environment, because I realized at the end of gossip session, this like gossip circle, everyone feels frustrated, everyone feels demoralized, and nothing is changing.
Sometimes I feel alive.
I know, but
and I feel connected with people. It's fake intimacy.
It's fake intimacy,
yeah.
But you'll see that when you start to pull away from that, you really will lose people. Like they'll get annoyed with you because misery loves company.
Oh, I've been around people who won't talk shit. Glassman. I mean, I tried to talk shit around him about someone, I think, and he just didn't pick it up. Yeah. And I know he's able to pick this.
Did it irritate you?
No, it really was like, it made me, I think there was a little bit of shame that I felt at first because I felt like he was then judging me for being that way. So I maybe internalized some shame there that he wasn't even meaning to bestow onto me. But then at one point we got to talking, I think hours later, after we were hanging out, and he just said something about like, I don't really gossip. And I was like, well, I don't like to talk bad about people that I wouldn't say to their face. And I said something like that. And he goes, but you're not saying it to their face. Even if you say, but I would say this to their face, well, then call them up first and say it to their face and then say it to your friend. If you really would. Like, the truth is, when I say, I'd say this to her face, I don't mean that 99% of the time. And he was right. And so it's like, I do find a lot of excitement in secrets. But here's the thing is like, I share all of my secrets. So if we just became more honest with ourselves, we wouldn't have to be talking shit, because talking shit comes from a place of like, can you believe she did this? And it comes from like wanting to shame other people. But if everyone was just... What was that?
Or self-hatred.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every time that I'm judging anyone for anything, it's always about my own insecurity. I don't care. If something doesn't have anything to do with me and it looks bad, I'm like, I don't care. But if something looks bad that I'm like, oh, I might do that to my face, I'm like, what did she do? It's like, it's just, I love when I catch myself about to be negative. I stop downvoting things on Reddit or upvoting negative comments. If someone like used to talk shit about someone that I didn't like, I would never write a negative comment about a comedian I didn't like. But if someone said a comment that I was like, yeah, this person fucking gets that they're a charlatan, I would like upvote it. I don't even do that anymore. I won't
Good.
even support negative comments anymore. I'm really,
That's
this
good.
is like me in the past month. I've weaned it out of my system. Talking about it feels good because it'll make me do it even more.
So
But,
you're not sending posts to your friend to be like, oh my God, look at that. You're not
No.
downvoting or
Done.
up things and
Yeah.
upvoting negative comments. Anything else?
I saw a guy at the airport writing a comment on an Instagram post. Have you ever witnessed someone writing a comment?
Yes. Oh my God.
It's such a weird thing to see because you don't even attach a person to these things. And so to see him writing a comment, I saw him look at a picture, then I saw him go to the bubble and then start writing a comment on Instagram, a big paragraph. And man, did I want to see what he was writing because I was dying to go find the comment and go, I just watched him write this. This is like
That'd be so
just
embarrassing.
a disgusting guy sitting at start like causing more hate. I wouldn't have done that, but I would have been like, I saw you write this. I caught you. Gate 37C. Like it would have just been so funny to be like, I just saw you do this and be this and actually I wouldn't have been anonymous because I would have written it from mine. But it just seeing someone write a comment is so vulnerable. You're just like, ew, why are you wasting your time typing a sentence to strangers? No one cares what you think. Keep this inside unless it's positive, unless it's like, slay girl, you look amazing. Oh my God, I can't wait to see this, whatever. Just don't do it. Just challenge yourself today to not text or write or upvote anything negative. See what happens. Because you won't have this longing for it. I always do this with like things I'm buying. If I'm going on a shopping spree online and I'm feeling a little bit manic, I'll add a bunch of stuff to my cart and I go, you can check this cart out tomorrow if you're still thinking about these things. And I never am.
Yep.
Ever. The next day, I can't even remember maybe once or twice. I've been like, no, I do really want that bag or that suitcase or whatever. And sometimes I'll go through my Poshmark likes and I'm like, oh, she offered me, 10% off. You know what? I actually do want this. I forgot but just add things to cart before you press go. My voice teacher has a thing written on his wall in his room, and I wish I could remember the exact phrasing, but it's like, engage brain before opening mouth. And that's for singing. Like, think about what you're about to sing before you just sing it. Think about what you're about to speak before you speak it. When I did not have a voice for those 3 weeks when I was having vocal cord surgery, the biggest lesson I learned was that in order for me to communicate, I had to think the thought, then I had to go to my phone and type it in, right? And then I had to hold it up. I would say half of the time, I would just start typing and go, this isn't worth like whatever it is. But I would not have even had that moment because it would have just flown out of my mouth. There would have been no thought. So much of what we say, including most of this podcast, is just, there's no plan for it. It just flies out of your mouth. And like, I just want to take more of a beat in life and go like, is this really what I want to say?
Good for you.
Is this really what I want to do? And it's like, you feel very in control when you're able to catch those moments before they happen. And you're like, am I fucking Gandhi? Because I didn't just send this picture of this girl where I'm questioning if she's pregnant or not, or whatever it is I'm ready to talk shit or speculate on. That's none of my fucking business. Yeah, it feels really good. It feels really good to just only be sending pictures of Emily Blunt at the Oscars and saying this is the most gorgeous human being I've ever seen in my life. And I don't understand it. Her look at the Oscars is my favorite look, I think, of all time of anyone's. The glow, the hair, the dress that has the elevated. Did you see these straps? They're like elevated. This
Hold
new
on.
thing is like the strap comes off the shoulder.
Oh,
like a
yeah.
plastic bag that's been like picked up,
Yes.
It's
Yes.
so
A couple
cool.
of them
I
had
love it. God, I loved her look so much. We didn't even talk about Oscar. Margot Robbie, I loved her look for the Oscars because it was like a dark purple, brown, blackish dress, which is her first time not wearing Barbiecore in like a year and a half. Like she's always dressed in Barbiecore, something Barbie. I loved Ariana Grande's. I loved Florence Pugh. She also had the elevated strap look.
Yeah.
And I think that was all my like real favorites. But that fucking Emily Blunt look, I can't stop thinking about it. I want that dewy skin. I'm gonna figure like that's the plastic surgeon I want, whoever she has. Like that's the name I have to get, and I don't know how to get it. But I shan't have any work done until I find that person. Because
I mean,
the
I'm sure a
greatest.
part of it was the makeup that she was wearing.
Absolutely. Oh my God, makeup
We
makes
spray.
such a difference when these people fucking know what they're doing. Because I think I know what I'm doing, and when I do my makeup, it's disgusting. Like, actually, I'm trying my best. It's really good when I do my makeup, but it's fantastic. I'm trying to stay positive. It's fantastic when actual artists do it.
Professional, yeah.
It's like someone, it's like me drawing a picture of a like mountain range versus Bob Ross doing it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think I can, these are mountains, and you can go, oh yeah, they are. But like, I'm not makeup. We don't think of it like that as like such an art that has such a learning curve. But yeah, so we covered a lot today. Brian's not here, but we have shows this weekend. Oh God, do we have shows? Grand Rapids and Columbus, and then next week we have Cincinnati and Gary, Indiana. And then I just announced a bunch of tour dates over the summer that just went on pre-sale, and you can get them now on pre-sale using code GOOD. They go on actual sale on Friday, but they're on pre-sale right now. You use code GOOD and just go find it at my website. I'm going to Boulder. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going to, God, what are the other cities? They're all like Charlotte. And
You also have Vegas with David Spade.
oh yeah, when is that?
You have one in May 17th.
Oh my God, May 17th with David Spade in Vegas.
Right around the
Please
corner.
go to that. That'll be, oh my God, at the Venetian. There's such amazing shows. If you want to plan like a girl's trip or a boy's trip to Vegas or just a trip alone, it's worth it to go see that show. But yes, Boulder, Salt Lake City, Cleveland, Indianapolis, and Charlotte, all on sale. These are June and July dates this summer. Have your first summer plan. Start it now by getting tickets, and you can get special ticket prices right now on the pre-sale. But tomorrow on Friday, they do go on sale for everyone, and you'll get regular prices. But right now, you can use code GOOD and get on pre-sale prices for these summer dates.
Today's Thursday, technically.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you have today. You have today until tomorrow that they go on sale at 10 a.m. and they go switch to the regular price. But right now,
Get it now.
get it now. Use code GOOD. Okay, thank you guys. I will see you at those shows. See you this weekend, besties. Thank you for listening to the show this week. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Brian. Don't be and bye.